Okay, in this video, we're looking at Chapter 5, Section 1. So you're going to write your St. James heading, and you're going to write Chapter 5, Section 1, underneath that St. James heading, and then underneath that, you write ratios and percents. Part of this is review. It's going to get us ready for um, doing our percent proportions and things like that. So this is just review to get us to that point. Okay, so a percent, just as a review, is a ratio that compares any number to 100, but it's to 100 per cent. Okay, per cent means 100. Okay, that's why when you have a penny, it's 1 cent. A penny is 1 cent because it's out of $1, and that's 100 pennies. So it's per cent. Okay, 1 penny, 1 cent. So think of percent is out of 100. Anything out of 100. Okay, just keep that in mind. Anything out of 100. So if I have, for example, I'm going to move down. Here it is. If I write each ratio or fraction as a percent, so every ratio or fraction as a percent. So here's my ratio, 17 out of 100. Okay, so what's the percent? Here's the ratio. That's my ratio. What's the percent? Well, I could write it in terms of a fraction. It's 17 over 100. Any number that's already over 100, well, that's actually your percent. So if it's 17 over 100, then it's 17% because it's over 100 already. It's really actually that easy. Okay, so if I have, let's say, 23 out of 100. That's my ratio. I'm comparing 23 socks to 100 socks, or I'm comparing 23 eighth grade students to 100 overall students in a school. Okay, that's my ratio. Now the percent, I could write the ratio as fraction. And again, if it's already over 100, then the numerator is your percent. So it's 23%. 23 out of 100. So it's 23% because it's already being compared to 100. Well, what happens if it's not um, out of 100? I'm going to show you. What happens if it's not out of 100? So if I give you 17 out of 50, so I'm going to write as a fraction 17 over 50, and I can't make it a percent until I get it over 100. So what did I do to go from 50 to 100? I'm going to pause so you can think about it. What do I do to go 50 to 100? Well, I did what? I multiplied by 2. So that means you multiply 17 by 2. So 17 times 2 is 34. So 17 out of 50 is really 34%. It's 34%. We're talking about how much out of 100, so you need to make sure you compare it to 100. Okay, let's do another example. Okay, all right, so you have, let's try 7 out of 20. 7 out of 20. Okay, I'm going to write as a fraction. 7 out of 20. And again, to find the percent, I need to make sure it's over 100. So I got to make my denominator 100. Well, how did I go from 20 to 100? How did I go from 20 to 100? I multiplied by 5. So I do 7 times 5. Well, 7 times 5 is 35. So then, the 7 out of 20, well, that's 35%. That's 35%. So that's how you find the ratio or fraction as a percent. This was your ratio. Okay, I set it up as a fraction. Here's my fraction. And then I made sure it was over 100, the denominator being 100, and there's my percent. Okay, Now, let's say I want to write the percent as a fraction in simplest form. Okay, so here's my percent. I have 29%. How do I write that as a fraction? And then make sure it's in simplest form. Well, what does percent mean? What does percent mean? Means per 100. So put 29 over 100. Now it's a fraction. Ta-da! That's it. And it can't be simplified any further, so there you go. You're done. 29 over 100 is your fraction. Whoops. 29 over 100 is your fraction in simplest form. I don't know why I can't move. Oh, it all goes together. Okay, well, I was going to move it over, but that's fine. All right, so 29 over 100. That's for 29%. Well, let's look at 40%. How do I write that into a fraction? Well, what's percent mean? Percent means per 100. So we'll do 40 over 100. That makes it into a fraction, but now we have to simplify. 29 over 100, that was already simplified. That's it. That's in simplest form. So that's done. Okay, so 40 over 100 is not simplified. So we know in 7th grade I showed you a trick where you cancel out the zeros. So now I have 4 over 10, because when you cancel out zeros, it's like dividing by 10. Okay, and then I can simplify 4 and 10 into what? 2 and 5. So that is simplest form. And you're done. Just remember, percent means per 100, per 100, per 100. Let's try another one. What about 70%? What do? I have to put it into a fraction and then simplify it. So percent means per 100. So it's 70 over 100. Again, I cancel out those zeros, and I get 7 over 10. And in this case, that's as simple as it gets. So I'm done. Let's try another one. Let's say 45%. Okay, 45%. Again, what does percent mean? Percent means per 100. So 45 over 100. Okay, we can simplify this. I can take 5 out of the 45, I get 9. I can take 5 out of the 100, and I get 20. Okay, and I'm done. Okay, so here I divided by 5. I divided by 5, just to remind you what we did. You know how to simplify fractions, though, so I should not have to help you with that. Okay, that's all there is to it. All right, your problem for next class is this. I want you to write each fraction as a percent. Okay, well, write this fraction. Okay, so if I give you 13 over 25, what's the percent? Find the percent, find the percent, find the percent. Okay, see you next class.